Welcome back. I'm N.S. Lavanya, Assistant Professor, Department of English, KCS Kasinadar College of Arts and Science. Let's see Unit 1, Reading Comprehension in Professional English for Commerce and Management, prescribed by University of Madras as soft skills for first year degree courses. Already we have seen the primary text 1, now 2. Federal efforts to aid minority businesses began in the 1960s when the Small Business Administration, that is SBA, began making federally guaranteed loans and government-sponsored management and technical assistance available to minority business enterprises. While this program enabled many minority entrepreneurs to form new businesses, the results were disappointing, since managerial inexperience, unfavorable locations, and capital shortages led to high failure rates. Even 15 years after the program was implemented, minority business receipts were not quite 2% of the national economy's total receipts. Recently, federal policy makers have adopted an approach intended to accelerate development of the minority business sector by moving away from directly aiding small minority enterprises and towards supporting larger growth-oriented minority firms through intermediary companies. In this approach, large corporations participate in the development of successful and stable minority businesses by making use of government-sponsored venture capital. The capital is used by a participating company to establish a minority enterprise small business investment company or MESBIC. It then provides capital and guidance to minority businesses that have potential to become future suppliers or customers of the sponsoring company. MESBICs are the result of the belief that providing established firms with easier access to relevant management techniques and more job-specific experience, as well as substantial amounts of capital, gives those firms a greater opportunity to develop sound business foundations than does simply making general management experience and small amounts of capital available. Further, since potential markets for the minority businesses already exist through the sponsoring companies, the minority businesses face considerably less risk in terms of location and market fluctuation. Following early financial and operating problems, sponsoring corporations began to capitalize MESBICs for above the legal minimum of $500,000 in order to generate sufficient income and to sustain the quality of management needed. MESBICs are now emerging as increasingly important financing sources for minority enterprises. Ironically, MESBIC staff, which usually consist of Hispanic and Black professionals, tend to approach investments in minority firms more pragmatically than do many MESBIC directors, who are usually senior managers from sponsoring corporations. The latter often still think mainly in terms of the social responsibility approach and thus seem to prefer deals that are riskier and less attractive than normal investment criteria would warrant. Such differences in viewpoint have produced uneasiness among many minority staff members who feel that minority entrepreneurs and businesses should be judged by established business considerations. These staff members believe their point of view is closer to the original philosophy of MESBICs, and they are concerned that unless a more prudent course is followed, MESBIC directors may revert to policies likely to recreate the disappointing results of the original SBA approach. We have come to the end of the passage. Now see the questions. Based on the passage, answer the following questions. First one, which of the following best states the central idea of the passage? The use of MESBICs for aiding minority entrepreneurs seems to have greater potential for success than does the original SBA approach. There is a crucial difference in point of view between the staff and directors of some MESBICs. Third one, after initial problems with management and marketing, minority businesses have begun to expand at a steady rate. Minority entrepreneurs wishing to form new businesses now have several equally successful federal programs on which to rely. Second question, according to the passage, the MESBIC approach differs from the SBA approach in that MESBICs. First option, seek federal contracts to provide markets for minority businesses. Encourage minority businesses to provide markets for other minority businesses. Attempt to maintain a specified rate of growth in the minority business sector. Rely on the participation of large corporations to finance minority businesses. Select minority businesses on the basis of their location. Now the third question, which of the following does the author cite to support the conclusion that the results of the SBA program were disappointing? The small number of new minority enterprises formed as a result of the program. Next, the small number of minority enterprises that took advantage of the management and technical assistance offered under the program. The small percentage of the nation's business receipts earned by minority enterprises following the program's implementation. The small percentage of recipient minority enterprises that were able to repay federally guaranteed loans made under the program. The small number of minority enterprises that chose to participate in the program. Which of the following statements about the SBA program can be inferred from the passage? Students, read the remaining questions and the acronyms given. Thanks for watching this video. We meet again next time.